little buzz to it. Okay guys, Retired and Happy here, back with another video. So quick question already. Don't know why they didn't put it on the video I just did, but they asked a question on my other drone videos about how easy is this to connect and will the phone fit in the remote. Now this is a big phone, the iPhone. Yeah, and it's gonna barely fit, and I'll show you right now. But first you need to download this app, which is the DJI. Get that in focus. Which is the DJI Fly app right there. So you need to download that app. Once you download that app, okay, go ahead, get the remote out. Take the little sticks out here for the joystick. Connect those up. Oops. Now, if you have a different type phone, you want to pull this out and put in the correct connector, because this is a micro USB and it connects to the types, the lightning cable here for my iPhone. But if you got an Android phone that takes type C, you put in the correct connector that you need for your phone. Now when connecting, you want to connect the cable first. Slide it in. Put that down. Put the cable in first. Make sure it slides into this giant hole back here, and then open this up to put your phone. Now it's probably going to be easier if you take the case off, but I'm not taking my case off because I'm used to doing it that way. But as you can see, it barely fits the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now if you have a smaller iPhone than the 12 Pro Max, because it's 6.7, so if you got like a 6-inch phone, 5.7-inch phone, it'll easily fit. Bigger phones, yeah, they're not gonna fit as easily, okay? So I normally just get my antennas out and get it ready, and then we move over to the drone here. Now with the drone, I showed this earlier, you basically take this off, put it to the side, and you take the drone and you turn it on, and then allow it to do its thing. So it's gonna move around, the camera's gonna move around, it's gonna calibrate itself, right? So now it's on, the drone is on. So now you come over here and you turn on the remote, which is over here. So press it once, press it again, that turns that on, okay? Now to connect it, you need to go to the app, Face ID unlock real quick, go to the DJI app. Now it's on, okay? Now before you get to this part, when you go to your main screen, which is here, it's going to ask you to upload a lot of firmware. Make sure you download all that firmware before you go flying first, because it might be something that you need. So make sure you get that firmware uploaded first. Then you go into the Fly app. Oh, excuse me, correction. Make sure you set up an account with the profile, open an account with DJI, get all that done. Then do the firmware, and then you open up the app. Okay, now on this screen, right, you got your map, you have your speeds or how the modes you want to put it in. S is for sport, C is for cinematic, which is very slow and smooth, and P, which is for your normal mode, right? You're just going to be flying at normal speed. So I think this drone gets up to almost 30 miles an hour in sport mode, but you're gonna eat the battery up. Now, like I said, down here you have the map. You can pull that up and it shows where you are, your location. And then you can go to over here, these 3 dots. Now this is where you set your altitude, your distance, your return to home features. You wanna make sure you get that set up. Okay, now when you first get this, it's gonna have this in metrics. If you don't want it in metrics and you want it in feet, you just go to imperial. Flight mode and all that, I leave it alone. I leave it on follow me. The gimbal's usually fine. You have the modes, and then you can calibrate the RC. You never really have to do that. But if you go to safety, it's very important you set your max altitude and set your return home altitude. Now in most countries, like in the US where most of you guys are watching, you want to set it at a max of 400 feet because it's as high as you can go in the US, 400 feet. Now when it comes here to calibrations, I do a compass count. Every time I do a calibration, I always do compass. So I'm gonna do it right now. So all you do is hit start, and then you follow the directions that's on the phone. You're gonna spin it this way a few times, then you're gonna spin it up a few times, and then it's gonna say, just like that, calibration is successful. When it comes to the other things on here, like the camera, the size, you got 16:9 or you got 4:3. I always format my disc, my SD card. I'm saying disc, my SD card. I always format it. And then you got advanced shooting modes. There's not as many on here as it is the Mini 2 or any of the other consumer drones or pro level drones. You don't have the same type of control like you do with those. So when it comes to channel modes, I leave it in auto. Frequency is 5.8. Once you get done with all of that, you can come over here and you can set up your video for what you wanted to set it for. Right now, let's see, no, I don't have any videos on here to show you, but it will capture your videos on your phone. It'll save it there. But you do get photos. This is the camera that is showing. Video like I showed earlier, and you can change your video modes here at the bottom. See, right now at the bottom it's set at 1080p 30 frames per second, so I want it in 2K at 30 frames per second. That's the highest resolution, but you could go 25 frames per second. You can even go 24 frames per second, but 2.7K at 30 frames per second is where I'm going to put it. You can also see right here, I have a 32 gigabyte SD card in there, which is going to give me 1 hour and 42 minutes at 2.7K at 30 frames per second. So that's double what I need, because you're only going to get maybe 25 to 27 minutes on a battery, depending on how you're flying. That's in normal mode, and in cinematic and sport mode, you may get 15 to 18 minutes. Okay, so that's set. And then, oops, I keep hitting that for some reason. And then you can also go here and go to quick shots. Let's see, unable to enter quick shot. Oh, so you gotta have it flying to do quick shots. But I was gonna show you all the different modes it could do in quick shots. All right, so I ran through that. I didn't go in complete detail with everything. Like here at the bottom, it shows your height, it's gonna show your speed, and then it's gonna show it in feet, how far you're out, how high you're up in feet. If you want it in meters, you can go back and change that to metric. Okay, so that's how easy that works. So you change your modes over here as I showed you, and then right here is where you can take off, you can do return to home, and you can land with this button. Okay, also over here, the green button, that's your battery percentage, which is showing 100%. And then you have how much time you'll have remaining on your battery over here. You got the satellite signal here, and right now I'm getting 0 satellites. I'm inside this concrete apartment, so 0 satellites. All right, so that's everything there. And then this other one here at the bottom, sorry about that. Oh, and over, because I got a phone call. Over here on the bottom, right now I have it in auto, but you can set your manual settings if you want to set your manual settings on the camera, where you can change your aperture, your shutter speed. I believe you can change your white balance on this one too, but I'm not sure. But I'm just gonna leave it on auto for now. I'll put it the way I want it after I do a couple of flights to show you guys what it's gonna look like straight out of camera. So that's what this bottom button is for. I'll press it. So then you can go and change all of that. right? So what I just mentioned, your shutter speed, your aperture, I believe your white balance. I'm not 100% on the white balance, but that's a quick rundown of all the features inside the screen. Okay, now over here you do have the same button, which is a return to home button or takeoff button. Up here you have a record button, and you have the controller for the gimbal. Usually left goes down, right goes up. And then on this side you have for photography. Okay, and that's pretty much it, man, in a nutshell. So I'll see if I can do a quick flight here in the house, make sure I don't destroy anything. It should be able to hold this position pretty well, so I'll show you guys that and close it out with that. Okay, see you in a minute. Using my Insta360 Go, there's the camera down there, I'm sorry, the drone down there, and I'm just gonna hit this button right here and hit takeoff. Hopefully I don't destroy anything. Oops. Take off. Unable to take off. Oh, okay, that's good to see. I'm in a geofence zone. There's an airport that's not that far away. So I have to change this. Now I'm in the flight mode. Let's see. So there it is, taking off, and it holds its position pretty well. It's drifting a little bit, but for the most part, it's not bad. A little buzz to it. So yeah, so you got the one LED light there. You probably heard that wind. But yeah, that's it in the house with no GPS, and it's showing you that's what the camera looks like. I'm not recording anything yet, but that's it in a nutshell. I have no GPS signals at all, no satellite. It's holding it. Now you do see people grab it, snatch it, and turn it. You're only supposed to do that in emergencies, but you know that does wear on your motor. So I don't, you know, it's an inexpensive drone. Do what you want to do. I never do that. I basically land it. And that's it. Hopefully you guys learned something from that. But yeah.